What have you made of Potter, Rory, this season?
I like him. I like him, and I think that we have to persevere with him. That's not to say that he hasn't made mistakes. I worry for his future, though. I worry for him overall. I don't necessarily think that he will be there for as long as I want him to be. I think that a lot of fans are already sort of not on his side. A lot of fans have already pretty much made their minds up with him because he's got so much wrong. And do you know what a key factor in where he's gone wrong is? He conducts himself. Oh, that's very well played. He conducts himself like he's still the manager of Brighton. Like he doesn't talk
bit
like
noisy.
It's
bit
Brighton,
noisy.
it's like Swansea in the Championship. He doesn't even feel like a Premier League manager sometimes.
He doesn't conduct himself like he's manager of London's only representative in the European Cup conversation. He needs to adopt a more. I don't know if it's arrogance or confidence or what. Maybe a little bit of everything. But we don't feel grateful to play Man City. We go to beat Man City. Whereas he seems to think this is a great opportunity for us.
To learn almost.
Yeah.
He realised that when he was a little bit more spiky in the other...
Well, he has to shoot there, surely.
He was a little bit more spiky in one of the press conferences recently. You think he realised that?
Yeah, he was pushing back a bit and he was clearly annoyed at some of the questioning. But the reason that he's getting some of those questions is because his team's been putting in such poor performances. And, that's a fantastic pass. Is he offside then, no? Get your shot off. Why is nobody shooting?
That's better. That's what you should be doing.
I mean, surely the worst option took the shot there. Like Lewis Hall's had the shot that's gone off for a throw on. Both Mason Mount and Kai Havertz have shirked responsibility.
It's almost like they had too much time there.
Mason Mount is an interesting player at the moment. He's really dividing opinion, at least.
Which players are performing well for Potter?
Mate, I mean, Thiago Silva's played very well. The new signings have looked some of the new signings have looked quite good. Zakaria came in, Badashile came in.
Got 12 left, the name.
Looked good, but nobody. The team haven't been playing well. The team really haven't been playing well. It's all very well to think, we got a decent win out last time, but it was very much in recent memory that we got turned over by Fulham. Chelsea shouldn't be losing to Fulham in any circumstance, ever. And, we lost to them, I think, that 2006, but that's because we'd already pretty much won the league. Very different circumstances. Like, we needed a victory against Fulham, we got beat. So, no, nobody's played very well for Potter. He hasn't really lived up to the billing at all. So there's a lot to improve, but, hopefully it will come. I just hope that we don't just constantly try and spend our way out of trouble.
I do worry about spending.
Any rhyme or reason to your spending?
No, not really, because there are two areas on the pitch that we so desperately need reinforcements. We need a centre forward and we need a central midfielder. Like Chelsea haven't signed a central midfielder since 2018. Like 2018.
You loaned one, that's it.
Yeah, no, we've loaned a couple. We had Saul, we've loaned, there's been some loanings. But in terms of signing players, in 2018, Kovacic, Jorginho arrived. Kovacic made his move permanent the following year with Lampard when we had the transfer ban. But he was already there the previous year. We've still got the same two midfielders. Like
and Jorginho's
terrible. If I were to say Chelsea need to sign, let's say I would say something really extreme. Chelsea need to sign Enzo Fernandez and Declan Rice in the same summer. You'd go, lads, what are you talking about, Rory? That's ridiculous. Of course you can't do that.
Yeah.
Effectively, it's not that extreme because all I'm saying is Chelsea need to sign a top class midfielder every 2.5 years.
And 10 years ago, you would have done it, but now that's going to cost you 250 million quid. Literally,
yeah, but
it's going to cost you £250 million. Those two midfielders.
We spent £500 million and we got worse.
Yeah, no, exactly.
In the last 6 months, we spent £500 million.
This reminds me, I'm not trying to wind you up, obviously it's a much different scale, but it's when Portsmouth went big, they got Crouchy, Defoe,
Nico Cranchar, yeah.
I know it's not the same level, but it feels like an owner that's overstretching. I'm not saying he's got no more money after this. He's got a lot of money in reserve, of course. But it feels like there'll be a wake-up call in 3 years' time when you can't sell these players or if you don't win a Premier League title to justify the kind of income.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very similar to Roman's early days, though, because Roman also kind of targeted other people's signings. But those signings were just better players.
But no,
I remember because we were going for Essien. Oh, shit, you gone Chelsea.
Yeah.
We were going for Robin. And you've kind of done that.
We signed Wayne Bridge to stop Arsenal getting.
Yeah, you've done that with a lot of players.
But Wayne Bridge was a wicked player.
Cucurella's. No, also, we've signed, like, under Abramovich, mate, it's there's a similarity in terms of it's Chelsea and we're spending money. But that's where it ends. Chelsea then were constantly signing excellent players that you'd heard of, players that you would have wanted at your club and players that you would have wanted at your club. Neither of you spoke to me about Badashile. Neither, that was never neither of you spoke to me about David Fofana. Like nobody.
João Felix maybe, but you didn't sign him.
I like Felix.
Yeah, I like him, but it's not like you've got him.
We haven't signed him. We've paid 11.5 million quid. Paid 11.5 million quid. If he does well, he'll go back. You know. It's
and or they'll sell him for a higher.
So look, it's It is troubling, but no. When Abramovich landed and we signed Joe Cole and Juan Sebastian Veron in the same window, that was good.
It's crazy.
That was good.
Crazy. Yeah.
This is just scattergun.
Same with Man City when we had Tevez and all that.
And we need midfield. Do you know what's going to happen? Chelsea now are going to have to sign another player to make up for the loan player that we signed, who now can't play, who we bought in to cover for the loan player that we loaned out. So we loaned out Lukaku. We bought in João Felix. João Felix now can't play. We're going to have to bring somebody else in. We already bought in Aubameyang to cover up for... It's like, what on earth are you doing? Like, genuinely, hang on. Let me actually work out the structure of this. Aubameyang... Right. So we're now going to have to sign somebody else to cover up for the player that went out on loan, who came in to cover for the player that went out on loan, to cover for the player that came in, who covered for the players that we sent out on loan. That's Chelsea's strategy. I don't even know what I just said.
I've never seen anything like
that. But that's accurate what happened. That's accurately what happened.
It sounds it, yeah.
Do you think the board will
accurate.
start to come under the flat rather than the manager?
Yeah, I think so.
You know what I would be worried about if I was a Chelsea fan? And I think we all kind of know the Super League will rear its head again. But Chelsea's owners are chucking so much money into this. They're surely going to want to see a return at some point. In what form does that return come? You know, how does that look? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it can only... I think it can only come in one of two ways. One potential way is to sell the club at an inflated rate, and they would sell it for more than they pay.
What did they spend? $8 billion on it?
Three.
$3 billion.
Three. I mean, three, including some debt, it made it tops it up a bit. But four-ish. But three is the value.
Anyone coming in at 8?
Three.
United
never going to be United.
For around £5 to £6 million pounds. £1 billion.
United are obviously a far bigger club than Chelsea, but Chelsea are in London and own... Like, Chelsea's stadium is worth...
Obviously, we don't know. Economically, these are massively big statements, but it's like we're not in the best economic situation globally.
No, there's a finite amount of people that can buy a football club.
Exactly. And in 10 years, you're going to double. You're going to 10x your investment.
And if you think about it, at the moment, Liverpool are up for sale. Manchester United are up for sale. Tottenham are unofficially up for sale. Like Joe Lewis is definitely angling.
Yeah.
There's no way that those three clubs sell, because Manchester United are probably the jewel in the crown of those three. Yeah. Partly because they're Manchester United, but also partly because the most likely person to buy a football club is Ratcliffe, who is a Manchester United fan.
Yeah.
So Manchester United, biggest club in the world, and Ratcliffe make them very likely to sell.
Yeah.
Liverpool are an exceptional football club, one of the biggest clubs in the world, an institution, and therefore will sell probably.
Yeah.
Tottenham, I don't know if they will. And then after that, I just don't think anyone else will. So in terms of Chelsea, say they wanted to flip Chelsea in what? Realistically, they'd want to double their money in 10 years?
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
No,
so then the other way is a Super League. And that's where it gets very potentially
It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again and again.
Well, it's going to happen because you look at the situation at Juve, you look at the situation of a lot of European clubs, and then you look at the situation... The other thing is, you look at the situation of the Premier League in terms of its wealth and its money and whatever else.
Yeah.
Like they are gonna do that. I'm sure.
Do you, away from the owners, it kind of still is about the owners. What kind of feeling? Because at the start they were kind of like talking about this project and they wanted to be long term and focus on someone and give someone time. Do you think Potter gets that time? Because I personally think he needs time. He deserves to get time as the kind of manager that needs it, but he's not going to get it. That's how I feel.
I understand why you feel that, but I do also think the truth of this situation is that you and I and nobody in the world has any clue, because this is uncharted territory. You know, with Roman Abramovich, you go, he'd be sacked if it was Abramovich. You know, when I said Tuchel would have been sacked way before he was sacked. Like, Tuchel wouldn't have lasted last season if Roman Abramovich was manager. Whether you think I'm right or wrong, the reason I think it is because there's case studies, there's examples. We saw what happened to Ancelotti in the tunnel at Goodison Park. We saw what happened to Roberto Di Matteo after that game against Juventus. We know that it was very unforgiving and you were sacked immediately. This new lot, we don't know. Like, there is no case study.
We have seen a bit of a case study. He sacked Tuchel after investing so much money in his players.
Tuchel wasn't his man. This is the first time.
Tuchel was dragging heels on a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Which
course,
is probably understandably so. But
This is the first time that this is Todd Bowley's man in charge. Todd Bowley's signings. This is it.
Yeah, yeah.
So we don't know if he's going to be, because effectively to sack him would admit that it was a mistake, which takes an element of professionalism.
Yeah,
and
you don't want to be 5 years.
How low do you have to drop then for them to sack him?
See, this is the problem. I think sacking him at all, no matter what happens this season, would be totally idiotic. Yeah. No matter what. Like, I genuinely mean
playing really well here. At the moment.
Playing very well here. I mean, we'll reassess that on the full-time whistle. You know, it's all very well to have a lot of the ball and not really create much. Chelsea need to be winning games as well. Like, ultimately, football for all clubs, it's a... You know, it's the final score that counts, yeah. But it's especially true for Chelsea at the moment, who are closer to the relegation zone than we are the top of the league.
Crazy.
So I don't know if they will give him time, but my inclination is that they will, simply because they have to, because it makes a mockery of the appointment. Yeah. See, do you know the other reason why I feel like Potter has to stay? Do you know what else makes it so that he has to stay? We signed everything to make Graham Potter work. Like, we bought the kitchen sink from Brighton. Everything that they were selling, we bought. Everything, even cooker. Like, what's that teacup up to? Because we'll have it. Like, we did that, and as a strategy, it's very expensive to not let that work. But equally, I think a lot of Chelsea fans will go, do you know what? We're Chelsea Football Club. Go and get Zidane. Go and get Enrique. Go and get Pochettino. Whoever.
I don't know about Enrique. I think
no, but any.
I'm not
it's not the point. Yeah, the point is an elite level.
The point is interesting though. I don't know who's out there. I don't know.
Pochettino's going to need time. He would need time too.
And I think there's a big question mark about Pochettino being a world-class manager.
No, I agree.
I think him and Potter, you could argue on a similar level though. Maybe Poch is ahead of him.
I think Pochettino's ahead of Potter.
I think Poch is in an A- category with Emery. I think A+ is Klopp.
I love how you've got these categories.
No, but do you know what I mean?
Tier list, I like it. Yeah.
I think Graham Potter's a B+. I don't think he's in the A yet. Pochettino's got to the Champions League final. That's serious for Spurs. Oh, yeah, serious manager. But it's tough, man.
Avram Grant got there. But I would also say, I don't know. Look, you know when we constantly say that, when you said it there, Ad, about Pochettino, you're like, he's going to take time. Not everybody does take time. Lots of managers turn up, impact, win the league. Turn up, impact, win the cup. Turn up, impact, qualify for the Champions League.
Like with Ten Hag, like he might not achieve.
He's already achieved.
You can tell something's happening.
Yeah. He's already achieved.